All right, diving in today, and we're going nautical.
Thoughtful.
Yeah, we're talking marine navigation systems.
Okay.
Those systems that help boats find their way and, more importantly, not crash into things.
Right, right.
I mean, think about it. Out on the open ocean, you can't exactly pull over and ask for directions.
No, you can't.
And you sent over this article, really interesting piece from Marine Navigation Systems, Enhance Safety and Efficiency at Sea.
Yeah, it's a great overview.
It is, by Marine Data Solutions, right?
That's right, Marine Data Solutions.
It's packed with insights on how these systems work and how much they've changed how things are done out there.
Absolutely. It really gets into the core technologies and this whole shift towards connectivity being essential.
It's special.
Satellite internet's a game changer.
Yeah, and that's what I really found fascinating.
Yeah.
So today, let's, chart a course through this information, figure out why these systems matter so much.
Sounds good.
For anyone who's ever, maybe taken a little boat out on a lake or something, it's a lot more than just a compass and a map these days, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Where do we even begin with all this tech?
Well, I think the article does a great job of breaking down the fundamental pieces, the essential components.
Okay, let's start there.
So we've got radar systems.
Radar, I know what radar is, but how does it work on, a boat?
Well, imagine you're shouting in a canyon, you yell, and you listen for the echo to come back.
Right, to tell if there's a wall in front of you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Radar does the same thing, but with radio waves.
Oh, so it's like sending out these invisible signals.
Right, and by analyzing how those waves bounce back, it can detect other vessels, land masses, obstacles, even in conditions where visibility is really poor.
So like fog.
Exactly. Fog, heavy rain, even at night.
That makes it like an electronic set of eyes.
Yeah, essentially.
When you really need them. And then there's autopilot integration. I mean, come on, who hasn't dreamed of just kicking back while a boat steers itself?
It's definitely appealing.
Especially if you're on a long trip.
Right, and it's not just about convenience.
So there's more to it than that.
Oh yeah, autopilot systems can maintain a much more precise course than a human helmsman could.
Really?
Which over long distances, that can translate to significant fuel savings.
Oh, that makes sense. Less weaving around means less fuel burned.
Exactly, and then we've got ECDIS.
HCDIS, now that sounds complicated.
It stands for Electronic Chart Display and Information System.
Okay, so basically it's like the digital version of those huge paper maps.
Precisely. It's a total game changer compared to traditional charts.
So what's so great about having everything on a screen?
Well, first off, digital charts can be updated much more easily.
You don't have to draw in new information by hand or something?
Right. They can be constantly updated with the latest information, new hazards, changes to buoys, updated depth soundings, all that.
So it's always up to date.
Exactly. And it allows for sophisticated route planning.
You can just draw your course right on the screen.
Pretty much. And perhaps most importantly, it integrates with other sensor data like GPS.
GPS, that's the global positioning system, right? The thing that tells you where you are on the planet.
Exactly. So ECDIS gives you this dynamic, incredibly accurate picture of where you are, where you're going, and what's around you.
So you can avoid any surprises.
Precisely.
And the last component the article talked about was communication systems.
Right. And it highlighted satellite internet as being particularly crucial these days.
Yeah, and this is where things get really interesting for me. Because the article was almost insistent that satellite internet for boats is revolutionary.
It is.
Why is that such a big deal?
Well, think about it. You're out on the ocean, potentially hundreds, even thousands of miles from any land-based communication.
You're in the middle of nowhere.
Essentially, and satellite internet bridges that gap.
So you're not totally cut off.
Right. It provides continuous access to real-time data, things like up-to-the-minute weather reports, sea conditions.
Which out at sea, that could be life or death information.
Absolutely. Knowing a storm's approaching or that there are dangerous swells that allows a captain to make informed decisions.
Like changing course.
Exactly. Or seeking shelter.
So huge safety benefits.
Huge.
But it's not just about getting information, right? Being able to actually communicate is important too.
Absolutely. Satellite internet provides that reliable link to shore-based operations.
So you can stay in touch with your home-based logistics support.
Exactly. And in an emergency, that connection to emergency services can be literally life-saving.
And this part blew my mind. The article mentioned automated route adjustments.
Yeah, that's some pretty sophisticated stuff.
How does a navigation system automatically change a boat's course?
Well, with that constant stream of real-time data coming in, weather, sea state, even shipping traffic, the system can actually, suggest or even implement changes to the planned route.
So it's like having a super smart first mate on board.
In a way, yeah.
Who's constantly crunching the numbers and saying, hey, maybe we should go this way instead.
Right. And it's not just about safety. It can also significantly improve efficiency.
By finding the most optimal path?
Exactly. Saving time and fuel, which, especially for commercial shipping, that's a big deal.
Makes sense. And there was one more thing. Remote system monitoring.
Ah, yes. That's a fascinating aspect.
I hadn't really considered that, being able to get help from shore.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
So how does that work?
Well, experts on shore can remotely access the system, diagnose problems, even troubleshoot issues.
So you don't have to, like, sail back to port every time something goes wrong?
Right, it minimizes downtime and keeps things running smoothly.
The article even mentions some specific examples like Starlink Maritime Internet.
Oh yeah, Starlink's making big waves in the maritime world, and VSAT for yachts, they're both really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with connectivity at sea.
They talk about high-speed, low-latency communication. What does that even mean?
So high speed means, fast download and upload speeds, basically how quickly you can send and receive data.
Right, like how fast your internet is at home.
Exactly. And low latency refers to the delay in data transmission.
So, like, how long it takes for your email to actually send?
Kind of, but we're talking milliseconds here. With these newer systems, the delay is almost imperceptible.
So you could have, like, a video call from the middle of the ocean.
Absolutely. And remote diagnostics become much more effective.
It's like the future's already here.
In many ways, it is, the article made a really good point about how this level of connectivity has transformed maritime communication.
It's no longer a luxury, it's essential.
Right. It's about ensuring continuous access to those essential navigation tools and safety alerts, no matter where you are in the world.
So with all this advanced technology, all these components, it seems like the next step is, well, putting it all together, right?
Exactly.
Investing in an integrated marine navigation system.
That's where you really unlock the full potential of all this technology.
The article outlines some pretty compelling advantages.
Well, the biggest one is enhanced safety.
Okay, break that down for me.
Imagine your radar detects an object. At the same time, your AIS, that's the automatic identification system, it identifies the object as another vessel, and your AXI-DNIS displays all this information on your digital chart, which is also overlaid with real-time weather data from your satellite internet connection.
So it's like having this multi-layered view of everything that's happening around you.
Precisely. It gives you a much clearer picture of potential hazards and allows you make more informed decisions.
And we already talked about fuel efficiency, right? Having a system that can optimize your route based on all this data, that's a big deal.
It is, especially for commercial operations where fuel costs are a major factor.
And that seamless communication we talked about, that's not just about safety, it also helps streamline operations.
Absolutely. Better coordination with shore-based support, logistics, it just makes everything run more smoothly.
And I imagine having all these systems working together makes things easier for the crew, too.
Oh, absolutely. The ease of operation is a major advantage. The autopilot working in sync with the ECDIS, all the sensor data being integrated, it reduces workload, minimizes the potential for human error.
So it's safer and more efficient.
Exactly.
But for someone who's, maybe thinking about upgrading their system or getting a new one altogether, where do they even begin?
Well, the article highlights some key factors to consider, and the first one is, perhaps the most obvious, what type of vessel are we talking about?
Because a small sailboat is going to have different needs than a giant cargo ship.
Exactly, and a fishing trawler will have different requirements than a research vessel.
So figuring out what kind of boat you have and how you're going to be using it, that's step one.
Right, and then you need to think about your connectivity needs.
Like how far offshore are you planning to go?
Exactly. If you're going to be operating in remote areas, satellite internet is often a necessity.
No cell towers out in the middle of the ocean.
Right, and then there's the issue of technology integration.
Making sure everything can talk to each other.
Exactly. You want to make sure the autopilot can receive instructions from the ECDIS, that the radar data is displayed correctly, all that.
So you're not dealing with compatibility issues down the line.
Precisely. And of course, there's the budget to consider.
Because all this fancy tech probably doesn't come cheap.
It can be a significant investment, but the article makes a good point. There are cost-effective options available.
It's about finding that balance between functionality and affordability.
Exactly. Getting the features you need without breaking the bank.
So we've covered the core components, the importance of connectivity, the advantages of an integrated system, how to choose the right one. But this field is constantly evolving, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The article even touched on some of the cutting-edge stuff, and this is where things start to feel really futuristic.
Yeah, it's exciting to see where things are headed.
One thing they mentioned was augmented reality navigation, AR.
Ah, yes, that's a game changer.
So what is that exactly?
Imagine looking at a screen or even through special glasses and seeing digital information overlaid on your real-world view.
Like you can see hazards highlighted right in front of you.
Exactly. Navigation markers, waypoint. It's like having X-ray vision for the ocean.
That's incredible. And they talked about AI-powered navigation assistance, so artificial intelligence is coming to boating now, too.
It is, and it's bringing some incredible capabilities.
Like what?
Well, AI can analyze huge amounts of data in real time, weather patterns, ocean currents, even historical shipping traffic, and use that to suggest optimal routes.
So it's like having a supercomputer helping you navigate.
In a way, yeah, and it can also learn to identify potential hazards based on sensor data.
So it can warn you about things before they even become a problem.
Exactly. It's like having a co-pilot who's always looking ahead and anticipating potential dangers.
And they mentioned integrated multi-sensor technology, so combining data from radar, sonar, and satellites.
Right. That's where things get really sophisticated.
So what's the advantage of that?
By combining data from multiple sources, you get a much more complete and accurate picture of your surroundings.
So more precise positioning.
Exactly. Early hazard detection and even more refined fuel efficiency calculations.
It's like having a 360-degree view of the entire marine environment.
Precisely. And the article emphasized how all these advancements are contributing to safer, more efficient, and more reliable maritime operations.
It's amazing to see how far things have come.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into marine navigation systems, what are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest one is that investing in a high-quality navigation system is no longer optional. It's essential.
It's about safety, efficiency, and peace of mind.
Exactly. And we've seen how the core components, radar, autopilot, ECDIS, how they all work together to provide those essential tools for navigating the seas.
And how satellite internet has revolutionized connectivity, allowing for real-time data and communication no matter how far from shore you are.
And choosing an integrated system, that's where you really see the benefits: enhanced safety, improved fuel economy, seamless communication, ease of operation. It all comes together.
And when you're choosing a system, remember to consider the type of vessel, your connectivity needs, how well the technology integrates, and of course your budget.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to stay up to date with the latest advancements.
Because this field is moving fast.
It is. Regular system updates, proper maintenance, consulting with experts, it's all part of the process.
So the journey of learning and adapting in the world of marine navigation, it never really ends.
It doesn't. And that brings us to a final thought for our listeners.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
As these technology continue to evolve, as AI and multi-sensor integration become even more sophisticated, how will that not only change the way we navigate, but also deepen our understanding of the ocean itself?
That's a great question to ponder. Food for thought for our maritime enthusiasts. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of marine navigation systems.
It was a pleasure.
Until next time, fair winds and following seas.
Indeed.